Big Jabroni there, coming to you here on Fan Cred. We got a couple things to get out of the way before we get into the bulk of the program. Number one, we are now sponsored. Wiggy, we are sponsored. That's how big we are.
Okay? We are huge.
Jabroni Talk is sponsored by Original Grain. Original Grain is a watch company that sells these amazing watches. And what I'm wearing right now is the 406 Club limited edition Red Sox watch. You can't see it here because I just, my technology. But what this is, Wiggy, is, and you know it because you got one, it is made out of original wood from Fenway Park in 1946. And the 406 Club, obviously the Ted Williams connection. So there's a few little bells and whistles there on the face of the watch with the 4 and the 06. And again, I'm not doing a great job because I'm a dummy in front of my computer. But let me tell you this. The watch is insane. It is a legit watch. It is a really cool sort of, just souvenir. And it's a great gift for if you've got a father or someone who is into baseball and an old baseball fan, or not even, who just likes cool watches. Go to originalgrain.com/Red Sox for the Red Sox watch, but they sell more products than just the Red Sox watch, and they're starting to bring on different teams as well. But again, it's made with the original grain wood from Fenway Park in 1946. It is a legit substantial watch, like you read about. If I knew more about watches, I could tell you about all the fancy bells and whistles, but I can't. Originalgrain.com for all the details. It comes in this, legit, really cool sort of box. It also, Wiggy, I think you probably wear things like this, a cool little bracelet that also has
got it all, man.
Okay, more reclaimed wood from Fenway Park. So again, they're the new sponsor. Jabroni Talk brought to you by originalgrain.com. Go to originalgrain.com right now and check out these watches. A great souvenir piece, a great gift piece for a father or a man in your life. The second piece is we're streaming live on the internet now on YouTube and some other places. So if you're watching us online and you want to join us on the fan line, you have to download the app, okay? So if you're watching us on the Fan Cred app, hit the upper right-hand corner fan line to join us as you would. This is a talk show. It's a sports radio show, but we get to see your pretty face. Hit the fan line in the upper right-hand corner. If you're on the app, you'll join us on the show. If you're watching us online, you have to download the app, Fan Cred, from your app store. That's it. Let's get going with Jabroni Talk. We're going to do a lot of baseball today. We'll be joined by John Heyman and some other baseball guests. But let's just start with a simple question that I know the answer to because Wiggy is the ultimate. I got to say one more thing about the watch. There's only 50 of 325 left. They did hand out 4 free ones. They handed out 4 promotional free watches. Guess who got the 4, Wiggy? You know, right?
Yep.
Me, Wiggy, John Henry, owner of the Red Sox, and Matt Damon, the movie star. So what things are not like the others, Wiggy? That's what I need to know.
There's 3 cool people, and then there's you. So I don't really know how you factored into the equation.
It's an excellent point. So again, Matt Damon, John Henry, Wiggy, and me have these watches, but check them out. Okay, again, on the Red Sox, start with that. Are they great or does the league suck? Is the game in trouble, Wiggy? Is this is the Red Sox record a commentary on them or baseball?
No, I think the Red Sox are a good team. They're doing what they're doing. When they play the Scribinis, they whoop them up. When they play the good teams, the Yankees, they're like, they're 4-5 against them. They're against Houston. I think they split. So when they play the good teams, they're doing what they're supposed to do. They are a good team. To me, I think they're the best team in baseball right now.
Okay, how's baseball?
Huh?
How's baseball? Best team in baseball. What does that mean?
I mean, it means absolutely nothing until you get to the postseason, really. That's the most important thing. But it means nothing to me. I don't start watching baseball till after the end of August anyways.
That's not the answer that we're looking for. What again, is this Red Sox team good, or are they just good because everybody else blows?
No, they're good.
Okay.
They are good.
Do you think they're better or worse than the 2014 that won the World Series?
They're not as good as them, but they're a good team.
They're not even close, but they have a record that's going to blow that team out of the water. They're going to set a franchise.
Right. But I mean, obviously, the competition is down. But for this year, for this season that they are playing, and for where baseball is right now, they are a good team. And even if you want to say the league might have some crappy teams in it, they're a good team.
Oh, the league has some crappy teams, and this is the point. So it took you a while, as usual, in typical Wiggy fashion, to get to the truth. But the truth is, the league does blow. They're a good team. No one's saying the Red Sox aren't good. But Boy, baseball has evolved into this place, Wiggy, where there's really a tanking culture going on in baseball that didn't used to exist. They've taken on sort of an NBA thing where teams realize there's no use being kind of bad. You got to get real bad. You get revenue sharing money when you're really bad. You reload through the draft. The last 2 World Series champions, the Cubs and the Astros, have done that. I think it's a real trend in the league. And I think it's become tankapalooza across Major League Baseball. There's no middle class in the game, and it is worse than it's ever been. And I think Red Sox are on pace for, 110 wins or something like that? That's the reason. If this were a normal year, they'd be on pace for a good record, 95.
Right.
I think the record pace is because the league sucks.
Right, but to answer the question, forget about record. Are they a good team? Yes, they are a good team. That is it. When you play against Scribini's, the teams that you're supposed to beat, look what the Red Sox do to those teams. And when you play against the quote-unquote good teams that are in Major League Baseball right now, they fare well against them. But it also means nothing until we get to the postseason. That's what it is. But yes, to answer your original question, they are a good team. And anybody who don't think they're a good team, they're just out of their mind.
That's the question. We said they're a good team.
Question.
We know they're a good team. Are they, again, 110 win good? Or is that because the league blows? Let's bring in a guest and see what he has to say about it. You're going to bring up John Heyman. John Heyman, longtime baseball writer, national baseball writer, now writes for FanCred Sports. So he's now part of the FanCred family. Maybe he'll get a fancy watch too. I don't know. Pretty select list. I don't know if you can land on the John Henry, Matt Damon, Mike Felger, Andrew Wiggins list of free watches. But John Heyman, thanks for joining us here at FanCred. You tell me, are the Red Sox that good or does the league suck?
First of all, good to be here, guys. I love that Tankapalooza, and I want to congratulate you on the watches and the sponsor. That's terrific. My name is John Henry as well, the first 2 parts of my name, so I'm thinking maybe I get a watch as well, maybe by mistake. I'll say this about the Red Sox. I think they are a really good team. I don't think we have to give them short shrift just because there are a lot of teams that are – I love that Tankapalooza thing. A lot of teams are maybe not trying their hardest, maybe tanking, whatever you want to call it. I love the Red Sox. Chris Sale, terrific. Kimbrel, amazing. JD Martinez, fantastic pickup. So they have all the elements of a champion. I think they are a really good team. But I do think that baseball has a problem this year because there really is a wide disparity between the best and the rest. And we said that at the beginning of the year, and it's coming to fruition.
So what happened, John? How did we get here? How did baseball become so disparate between the haves and the have-nots?
I think some of these teams that are kind of in the middle or not so great, they looked at these super teams, so-called super teams, and they said, you know what, we're not going to make it this year. Maybe it's time to rebuild. Maybe it's time to do something. We just can't do it. And, I think the fact that Houston and the Cubs were rewarded for really not trying their hardest to win. They were playing for the future. It was probably smart. They did win. I think teams looked at that and said, you know what, we can do that too. That's easier road to the championship than picking up a free agent here or there. Because as you know, free agency is a crapshoot, and it's very difficult to build a winner that way. So I think there were teams that were not trying their hardest. There are teams that are accepting defeat. There are teams that are willing to rebuild, and it's an unfortunate season in that regard. You look at that American League, we're kind of just waiting to see whether Oakland can catch Seattle, and that's a shame. We're halfway through. Should be more to root for than that.
There's no penalty.
Let me ask this, John. Why is that a knock on the Red Sox? You got idiots like Felger and the rest of these morons in Boston Sports Talk Radio who complain about the league being down. Hey, guess what? Even if the league's down, the Red Sox, their performance is showing, hey, we are the best team in the league. So why is it a knock on how they're performing?
Yeah, I wouldn't knock the Red Sox based on that. First of all, they're not in that Central Division where you've got the easy wins. Obviously, Baltimore is down this year, but the East is still pretty good. I mean, Toronto is average. Tampa's average. The Yankees are very good. Obviously, Baltimore, terrible. So, I mean, they have average competition. If they were in the Central, I could give that a little more credence where they've got 19 games against Detroit, 19 against Chicago, 19 against Kansas City. You got 57 games, more than a 30-year schedule against teams that are just not really trying this year. I would give that more believability. But I would say at this point, the Red Sox look really good. I mean, they have been the best team to this point. I give them credit for that. They have the makings of a champion, as you guys have said. I still would say that Houston's probably the favorite, a slight favorite, but Houston, followed by Boston, followed by New York, 3 best teams easily in baseball. It's been a weird year.
John, quickly, before we let you go, we know you've done a lot of reporting on the Manny Machado situation. Handicap that. Yankees, and the Red Sox.
Yeah, I don't think the Red Sox are in it. And you can come back on here next week and yell at me when they get him. But I'm not seeing that. They have a pretty good situation. They're certainly set at shortstop. I don't see them replacing Devers at third. Manny Machado doesn't want to leave shortstop for third. He's certainly not going to leave it for second, which is really their area of interest other than relief pitching. So I'm not seeing that. I think they just checked in. They know the Yankees are somewhat involved. I'm going to say it's more likely a National League team. Milwaukee, Dodgers, Arizona, Phillies. I would say the Yankees have some chance, but to me the Yankees need starting pitching more. It's a little bit of a situation like the winter where they needed starting pitching. They saw that big right-handed power hitter. They went and got Giancarlo. They may do it again. If they can't get the starter that they want, they may just try to overwhelm people and do it. So I'd say the Yankees have an outside chance. I think Boston's chances there are really, really not even worth discussing. The Boston, to me, is looking at relief pitching first, maybe second base second.
Okay. I'm from Milwaukee. You got me very excited with that Brewers mention. John, thanks so much for taking the time. We read your stuff on FanCred Sports. Thanks again.
Thanks, guys. Congrats again on those watches. They look beautiful.
Fucking balls, these watches. So, folks, again, if you want to weigh in with a comment down below, we'll read those as well, and we'll just read them as we go. And you can also hit the fan line if you're watching on the app is how you get it. If you don't, if you're watching online, you have to download the app to get on the fan line to talk to Wiggy and I as we would be a sports radio show. Quickly, Wiggy, what would you be willing to give up for Manny Machado for just a half year? Would you give up Devers?
No, not for a half year. Not for a half year. I think if you can ultimately get this guy to some long-term deal, yes, but now I wouldn't do it for a half year because I think they're in great position right now. We just heard John talk about, they're between Houston, New York, and them, they're the three best teams in baseball. So I don't think you have to make that move. You just need some of those guys that are in the lineup to get their bats going.
Let me ask you a question again. There's so many questions I ask you I know the answer to. So, what's even the point? Red Sox, Yankees, who do you like, Wig?
Who do I like? Red Sox, Yankees. I'm going to have to say I like the Yankees.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you serious?
I do. The only reason why I say I like the Yankees, the only reason why I say that I think the Red Sox would be able to win in a series, but I think just because of the power that they have in their lineup would obviously stand and judge. To me, and I look at the bottom half of the Red Sox lineup, they have to get things going. If they can get things going, I told you this before, and I will tell you this again. I do like the Yankees, but I think the Red Sox ultimately win. The big player is David Price in the postseason. Is going to have a huge postseason.
So, folks, there's Wiggy in a nutshell. He likes the Yankees, but ultimately thinks the Red Sox will win. If you can figure that out, we'll send you a watch, or maybe not. You know what? There's someone who's had a Red Sox-Yankees take on this all season long. It's Evan Drellick from NBC Sports Boston, the former Comcast Sports Nut. And so he'll join us now on the fan line. Evan Drellick from day one has had Yankees over Red Sox. I think if I looked at the standings right now, is it 3.5 in favor of the Red Sox, Evan? So I ask you, do you still feel that way, Yankees over Red Sox?
Yeah, I said at the end of last year, Felger, that the Yankees were going to overtake the Red Sox. I was wrong, but the difference in the rotation, the Yankees rotation is weaker than the Red Sox. It's not great. The Yankees rotation, the Yankees ERA overall is better than the Red Sox right now, believe it or not. And the Red Sox offense is scoring more runs per game than the Yankees. They're really closely matched. Whose bullpen do you take in a playoff setting? I take the Yankees bullpen any day of the week, even if the Red Sox go out and add somebody.
Okay, so is that your handicapping a 7-game series or a 5-game series, or are you handicapping the final 75, whatever it is?
Both. Look, the division's going to come down to 1 or 2 games. There's no question in my mind. You look at the 12 of the final 16 games the Red Sox play. Astros, Indians, 2 series with the Yankees, okay? Everything we're seeing now, you talk about, people don't care about baseball. You're going to care in September. You don't have to wait till October because September's schedule is designed to make you care. But even if the Red Sox are 4 up or 4 back in the middle of September, this thing's going to be wide open. You're not going to see this division separate by much.
Okay, tell me why baseball sucks so bad right now. Baseball, I don't mean the sport, the game. I mean, it has its problems, but I'm talking about MLB. Why there's so many horrible teams.
I love it. I love everything about baseball. Well, all right, the horrible teams issue is one thing. That's about collective bargaining. That's highbrow stuff that the Players Association screwed up. They incentivize teams to not spend money. You don't spend money now on free agents. What do you get? You get more ability to sign international amateurs. You get more ability to draft U.S. amateurs, okay? So if you're a team, you can go to your fan base and go, why should I spend money? So that's why you had what happened in free agency this past year. But the other problem, it's not so much pace of play, it's action. There are fewer balls in play than ever before. When I'm at a game, when I'm in the press box, Felger, I know you haven't seen one in a very long time, but when I'm in a press box, I don't really pay attention until the crack of the bat. I need to hear that sound, and then you look up and, oh, there's a nice play. Oh, there's a home run. But nobody's paying attention to every single pitch, not even the writers. And I think you need that crack of the bat, and they've got to find a way to incentivize that too.
Okay, let's get
some swag in baseball. No swag in baseball. That's the problem. They need, like in football and basketball, the players have swag. They got customized cleats, customized gloves. There's entertainment there. There's, like Evan said, there's that highlight factor. You don't have that in baseball. It's too much of this old man sport. Get the swag in there. Pimp home runs. Celebrate. All that stuff. Bring it back.
People are afraid to show themselves. You know what? Like Manny Machado last year going on this rant when he drops 15 F-bombs in about 2 minutes is actually good because it shows personality. It gives you something to root against or root for. You don't have enough guys showing themselves, and I can't blame them. You know why? Because people like Felger and people occasionally like me, I'm a little more reasonable, we jump on anybody who dares to say anything.
Okay, some from the comments. This is something Wiggy wanted to hit on before. Ben in the comments says David Price in the 7th inning. Is that what you had in mind for David Price, Wiggy, when you say he's the key, or you mean he's the key as a second starter?
I mean he's the key as a second starter, man. I'm telling you, David Price is going to have a big postseason. Mark my words, he's going to be a main reason on why the Red Sox have a huge postseason this year. You as a starter, and I'm not talking about him as a bullpen guy, as a starter. Everybody can talk trash about him, but watch.
Okay, let me tell you, Evan, that I'm someone, and I'm not a David Price guy by any stretch, but I keep him in the rotation because I think that's where you're at. You know, unless he gets hurt and has something like last year where there was a weird sort of circumstance where you can stuff him in the bullpen at the end of the year because that's the only logical spot. Otherwise, you're at your best when Sale's going and Price is going, and that's your ceiling. And if David Price has a history of choking, tough. You paid him. That's his job. That's his position. He's out there the second day, and you sink or swim with David Price. That's what I think.
I'm going to agree with you because it's about alternatives. If Erod is shoving, okay, he's in the rotation. Porcello, you like him in the rotation. Sale, and then what? It's Drew Pomeranz or Stephen Wright? You're really going to start Drew Pomeranz or Stephen Wright over David Price? Like, if Price has a terrible September, Wiggy, Felger, like, then fine. You know, if he sucks or if you're right, he gets hurt, put him in the bullpen. I just can't see myself watching a postseason series and going, yeah, it makes more sense to start Stephen Wright's knuckleball over David Price. It doesn't ring true to me.
Okay, one more quick comment. Josh in the comments says Red Sox are the greatest team whose top 2 starters suck in October. Legit issue. Not a single win as a starter. Why do you do? Why do you give me one of those? Why are you supposed to be confident in guys who've never won at that time of year?
All right, okay. Sale has had how many opportunities? One postseason. We know what happened last year. He got tired. If Sale's throwing anywhere close to where he is now, and I guess you could say he shouldn't be throwing so hard now, he'll be fine. Chris Sale is awesome, all right? I'm not worried about Sale, his toughness, his big spot thing. With Price, you know what finally convinced me was the Yankee start. There's no defending that. He had a big stage, and he choked. It's the closest we've had yet to, like, this guy cannot handle the moment. But I also ask you this. Where do you draw the line on that? This idea that, like, okay, relief is all right, but starting isn't. Why? If you're a reliever in a postseason series, you're still thinking about pitching the night before.
It's different. No, you're not. It's not the same.
What are you thinking about the night before you pitch?
It's not the 5-day buildup. It's not the pitching in the bullpen before the game, knowing you're the guy. This is a problem, Wiggy, with these baseball guys. They're too nerdy, right? They never played, never understood what it was like to walk out onto a field in a different situation with a different circumstance. There is no comparison between being a starter.
What's tougher, the first inning or the 7th inning? In 7th inning of Game 4, when you got bases loaded and George Springer at the plate, or the first inning when everything's calm.
Different kind of spot. Now, I'm not telling you the pressure isn't there. It's a different kind of pressure. The starting pressure, David Price clearly has an issue with because he shat his pants even 2 weeks ago when he had 2 weeks to think about his start at Yankee Stadium. You know it's different. So
until he postseason.
Until he
said he won't be ready to go.
He's got to prove it.
Wiggy, why will he be ready to go? Why are you so sure of that?
I'm telling you, just watch what David Price will do this postseason, because he's got it in I got my sources on the streets. He's got it in for all you geeks and nerds in the media out there that are always talking shit about him. And I'm telling you, watch. Yes, you are a nerd.
Okay, Evan, thanks for joining us. See you later. Bye-bye. And I lost my reading glasses, so I'm dying here. I can barely see what's going on. Let's do a couple minutes on Celtics here before we get to the 5 questions with Wiggy, which is where we wrap up every show here, every episode of Jabroni Talk. Marcus Smart not getting his money. What do you make of that whole situation? He thought he was going to be somewhere in the 12, 13, 14, $15 million a year range. He hasn't gotten a single offer. It doesn't feel like, Wiggy. The Celtics only have him at 6 with that qualifying offer. Doesn't feel like they have any sort of urgency to give him more than that. And why would they when no one else is offering anything on the market? Now it feels like Marcus Smart's all pissed off. He's still sort of dangling out there. What's your take on the whole situation?
He's in his feelings. That's what he's in his feelings. Bottom line is this. Listen, the dude is not 12, 13, 14 million. Somebody wants to pay him that, go wherever you want to go. He's right where he needs to be. Give him 6, 7 million. I'll take him back. But if he wants more than that, good riddance. I mean, Marcus Smart is a good defender. I think a lot of people overrate him here. He's a good defender. He brings you this. My problem with Marcus Smart is on offense, he gives you absolutely nothing at all. And you can find a guy that can be an adequate defender and give you something on offense. Give me Terry Rozier over Marcus Smart. And he's in his feelings right now because the Celtics are like, yo, you are what you are.
So I like Marcus Smart. I'm a pro Marcus Smart guy. His value is his value. Like, that's sort of a different story to me, but I get his value on the floor. I like him on the team. I think he fills a valuable role. So that's just a precursor to what I'm about to say. The Marcus Smart situation is another example of how pathetic green teamers are and how much they overrate their own players. This is a guy, folks, who is getting zero interest on the open market. Zero. Along with those, by the way, Isaiah Thomas is still out there and can't find a job either. All these guys that have been on this team the last couple of years that the fans have elevated to these, untradeable, super valuable, hidden gem pieces, no one else really wants. There's no market for these guys. It's just another example of, boy, did local fans overrate these players because the league.
I just told you, I'm a green teamer and I don't want them.
Good for you.
I don't think I think there's more people like me that look at Marcus Smart and think that, yes, he's a good player, but hey, listen, he's not worth that kind of money, and we can move on from him. A lot of people always looked at him as being an overrated player. Yeah, he can play a little defense, but he can't throw the ball in the ocean. I think that there's a small majority of green teamers that are like, yo, Marcus Smart was worth $12 million.
All right. Hopefully there aren't more people like you, Wiggy. That I hope is not the case. Let's bring on Mike from Arizona. He joins us on the fan line just to get a little fan interaction here. Again, if you're watching on the app, you can hit the fan line in the upper right-hand corner to join the program. If you're watching online, you have to download the app. Mike in Arizona, what do you got?
Hey, just want to comment on Marcus Smart. I think it's his agent that's made him believe he's got a lot of money when he never really was going to. He's the same agent that represented Nerlens Noel last year who turned down $70 million. The market is not there for the non-big guys, the big stars, and probably won't be there next year either for him either. All the money's gone. You look, Jabari Parker's still out there, Clint Capella. It's not just Smart. There's other restricted free agents still out there that are decent. They aren't getting paid. He completely misread the market. Okay,
thanks for the call, Mike. Obviously, I think the agent screwed up in terms of giving Marcus a false narrative because I think one of the reasons Smart's all pissed off is because he was expecting more, and he's expecting more because his agent told him he was getting more. So that was But it's not what the agent has done. Let me just say this. It's not what the agent has done is earned him more or less money. He's going to get what he's going to get from the teams, whether the agent is a good agent or a bad agent. I just think he inflated the players' expectations, and now that's leading to bad feelings.
Yeah, but I don't think it's necessarily I don't think it's on the agent. I think it's the player. He sees other players getting money. So in his mind, he sees Avery Bradley get a good deal. And he's like, wait a second, I can do what Avery does. Maybe I feel like I'm a better player. He's seen Evan Turner get paid a few years ago. He's seeing guys. So I think it's not really the agent. The agent might just be like pumping him up. Yeah, you're worth that. But in his mind, he sees all these guys on the market making this amount of money. That's what he thinks he's worth. He's a guy who went to the Eastern Conference Finals. Yes, he played a good role in what the Celtics had to offer. So in his mind, he's thinking, oh, yeah, I'm a $12, $13 million player all day long.
But I'm just telling you, his inflated his sense of self, his inflated opinion of himself, is not just because of his agent. It's because of you. It's because of green teamers, not you, Wiggy. So apparently you haven't been on the Marcus Smart bandwagon. But boy, do we inflate? Do we pump up the value of these players on this team? Maybe unlike any other team, in town for sure. Let's bring in one more guest. Let's bring in a basketball guest, and that's Adam Kaufman. Used to be on 98.5 The Sports Hub. He still covers the Celtics. And I want to ask Kaufman and you, Wiggy, one more Celtics question. Again, we're presented by Original Grain Watches, originalgrain.com. There's a great limited edition Red Sox watch. Only 50 left out of 325. Originalgrain.com. Check it out. It's an amazing watch. Kaufman, I want to ask you about Kyrie Irving. And what do you think's going? Do you think he's playing a game? And if so, what game is he playing? Why is he not being more committal to the Celtics?
I don't think he's playing a game. I think if you go back through his career with Cleveland, this is just kind of the guy that he is. I think he's a truther. He doesn't want to get caught in a lie. He doesn't want to say anything he doesn't mean in the moment. And that has just been a detriment to Celtics fans who want him to explore and talk, in depth, just all over his passion about being a Celtic and how long he wants to stay here, but he's not going to do it.
Let me interrupt, and you tell me what you think of this. So here's what I think about Smart. Kyrie Irving. He's a drama queen. He wants the attention. Like the rest of these NBA guys, he wants to be courted. He wants his 5-part internet special on his decision. He wants teams to come kiss his ass. He probably wants to rent a house in the Hamptons for a weekend and have everyone come and kiss his feet. He wants the adulation. He wants the speculation. He wants teams going, come here, Kyrie. We love you, Kyrie. He's just a drama queen. And he'll ultimately
wait a second.
But he wants that process, Wiggy.
Wait a second. So because he won't give you an answer on what he's going to do when he becomes a free agent next year, he's a drama queen? I got no problem with Kyrie Irving not committing to the Celtics. I think this guy's not going anywhere. He's one of those guys that say, hey, listen, when free agency comes, I'll let you know what I'm going to do. I don't need him to be committed to me now. For him, and so what if the guy's not saying nothing? That doesn't make him a drama queen because he won't say, oh, yeah, I'm going to be a Celtics for the next 5 years, but even though I'm going to sign my contract in 2019, no, the guy's doing what he wants to do right now. He doesn't have to say anything. I want to play. We'll talk free agency next summer when I'm a free agent.
Trust me, he's a drama queen. Kaufman, final word on that.
Yeah, I'm not going to go so far as to saying that he's a drama queen, but I absolutely agree that he wants the attention. I also think the fact that last year was nothing like what he expected in a personal way with his injury and also not having Gordon Hayward by his side. The 2017-18 team didn't look what was expected, put him in a different state of mind. What if they're not this year nearly as good as we all believe they're going to be? He doesn't want to trap himself in of course I'm going to stay here, when some of that New York stuff, like, when there's enough smoke, there's fire. Some of that is real. I'm with Wiggy in that I do believe he's going to be back, but you'd be crazy to think he's not a flight risk.
Thanks, Kaufman. Take it easy. We're going to wrap it up now with 5 questions with Wiggy. We do this every single week. This was a Felger and Maz staple. We've now taken it to Jabroni Talk, again, brought to you by originalgrain.com. Check out these Red Sox limited edition watches. Only 50 left of 325. They are they're legit. I'm not a watch guy, but they sent me one, and I'm wearing this, and when I get it fitted, I just might wear the thing, Wiggy. I know you will. But anyway, 5 questions with Wiggy from sports, non-sports. Here's number 5, Wig. Reports came out this week that Rob Gronkowski not signed, sealed, and delivered necessarily to the Patriots. There might be some teams around the league waiting to see if Gronkowski becomes available again in a trade at training camp, at the end of training camp. So I ask you, do you think Bill Belichick has it in him to trade Rob Gronkowski?
Yes. Yeah, but Bill will trade anybody. And, Rob's no different. And I think he's looking at it. If there's an offer good enough that he feels like will, make the team better, in his mind, he will trade him. Now, are they going to do it? I highly doubt it. But, knowing Bill, anything's possible.
Okay.
Hey, he cut me.
If you can cut Wiggy, then you can trade Rob Gronkowski. That's what they say. By the way, while I have you, how did he cut you? Did he tell you to his face? Did Bears come and get you? Bears is Bill Belichick's assistant, for those of you out there who don't know. How did you find out?
They came and got me, and Scott Pioli was like, hey, listen, there's just not enough footballs to go around. We're bringing in, I think, Cam Cleveland or something like that, and, we're moving on from you. Hey, you know what? It was part of the business. I went to other places, and I had a good career. So, it worked out at the end of the day. I still hold it against him, though.
Good. You should. Hold a grudge. Question 2. Have you gotten into any of the soccer, Wiggy? You watching any of the World Cup?
No, I don't watch any of that nonsense.
Why not? What prevents you from watching it?
It's too boring for me. It's like golf. It's like I need excitement. It's too boring. I can't sit there and watch guys run around. I mean, I think it's, you know, it's a good sport, but it's too boring. I don't want to see a game. France and Belgium 1-0. I don't want to see that. And then the game, these guys are flopping all over the place like somebody shot them. No, I got no interest in soccer whatsoever.
The flopping's tough. The rest of it, I think, is pretty good. It's a good watch. I still do enjoy it. Let me ask you, if you had to root for a country, who do you root for, and how do you determine that?
Well, I would probably root for two teams if I had to root, okay? Now, that would be my ancestry. So I'd root for Italy because I'm half Italian, and then I'd root for a team from Africa because I'm half black. So I don't maybe Senegal or something like that, or Nigeria.
What I'm half Jewish, so what I do is I go back to what countries were the biggest pussies in World War II, and I root against them. So France, Belgium, I think Belgium put up a little bit more of a fight than the French, who did very little, the French, so I root against the French. I always go back to World War II and say, what side were you on in World War II? And that's sort of how that's when I have a neutral betting or rooting interest, that's how I determine it, World War II. Question number 3, Wiggy. You played in the NFL for almost a decade. NFL training camps start in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. If you were still playing and you got to this time of year, what would you be dreading the most coming up here in 2 weeks for training camp?
Practice. Training camp practice. I would be dreading
training camp practice. What kind of session? What kind of thing?
Just the long drawn out, tedious, repetitive stuff like going over blocking drills over and over, that kind of stuff. Like, listen, man, just get me to week 1. You know what I mean? Get me to week 1 and we can stop playing these games. The training camp and preseason is for the younger guys. Veteran guys, I'll see you in week 1. But that was it for me. I'd be like, but, you know, fortunately, you know, I never had that luxury except later on in my career where I could kind of take my foot off the gas a little bit.
Okay, is that when you went to Minnesota and you were with Randy Moss and it was okay to quit?
Yeah.
Practice hard?
No. I didn't say quit. I didn't say quit. Just, hey, let some of the young pups get those reps in practice.
Randy Moss setting the tone again. Okay, question number 4. We are now Jabroni Talk presented by Original Grain. You got to check out originalgrain.com/Red Sox for this limited edition Red Sox watch. It is made with reclaimed wood from Fenway Park in 1946. It's a special 406 Club edition. Obviously, a Ted Williams allusion there to the 406, which you can find on the face. You'll see a few little bells and whistles that relates to that. Originalgrain.com/Red Sox to check out this item. We got a free one. Wiggy and I got free ones. There are only 2 other free ones distributed by originalgrain.com. One to Matt Damon and one to John Henry. So again, John Henry, Matt Damon, Felger, and Wiggy. If there had to be a 5th free watch given out, Wiggy, who gets it? Who gets that 5th free watch? Who belongs in that list?
I would say Ben Affleck belongs in that list.
Because
that's who I would. Because, you know, he's always at the Red Sox game. He's a Boston guy. You know, he seems like he's a real Red Sox fan. I mean, the problem is you're in that list. You do not deserve to be in that list. I don't know how you pull that one off.
When John Henry finds out I'm on the list, he's going to take me off the list. Okay, 5th question. It's a fan question. Join us on the fan line for the Wiggy question of the week from the fan. We'll go to our buddy Robbie in Vermont. When he pops up, he'll ask Wiggy the 5th and final question here on Jabroni Talk presented by originalgrain.com. Go ahead, Robbie.
All right, Wiggy. What is the most dangerous firework display you set off from your rooftop? And how close were you to blowing the shit out of your hand like JPP?
Good question, Robbie. Thank you. Wiggy, how close have you come to blowing the shit out of your hand? Because I guarantee you play with fireworks.
Listen, I lit fireworks off this 4th of July. Luckily for me, I live in New Hampshire because I know they're illegal in Massachusetts. But yeah, I light them off. But see, I'm smart with my fireworks. I'm really smart with it. I light it and I run. And then if there's an issue, I send the dog over there to sniff it out.
On that note, we're going to conclude. Again, check out the Original Grain watches at originalgrain.com. Jabroni Talk is out for this week. We'll catch you next Wednesday at 12:30. Bye-bye, Wig.
Peace.